Hello, welcome to the Pitchy Podcast. We're your hosts, James
and Stephanie.
Here on the Pitchy Podcast, you know what we do. We are so passionate about great music and a great vocal, and we'll always use the vehicle of NBC's The Voice to talk about each contestant. But Stephanie, we're in the off season.
We are.
So we're going to talk about our favorites.
Yes.
Our favorite of the semifinal round. We have taken and gone back and reminisced on this incredible season 23. Mm-hmm. And we are getting down to the end. All moving towards a countdown of the next season, season 24 of The Voice.
Yes.
So we have come up with a top 5. And maybe we want to talk about another special performance that Stephanie and I went crazy nuts over.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get down to business, Stephanie.
Okay.
And talk about our top 5s for the semifinal round. Now, we were down to the 8 contestants that were left. And Stephanie, correct me if I'm wrong. Was this the first true live show?
This is the first true live show, yes.
What I thought. So, keeping that in mind.
Yes.
You all have to understand, Stephanie and I, as a music mentor of ours, would say, we have both had big ears.
Yes.
And that term, big ears, means basically our ears are tuned in or attuned to very, very minute details.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing, Stephanie, that I particularly love about the live rounds is really the imperfection of it all.
Yeah.
Because I feel like at times when things are digitized or go through the whole production that some voices, some more than others go through, I feel like we get more of a raw performance.
Yeah.
And not such a perfect performance, if that makes sense.
Right. But the interesting thing was, though, James, that as I was listening through and watching the top 8 performances, I had to kind of be reminded that this was the first live, because there was not so big of a difference between the pre-recorded vocals that we had been seeing and the live vocals. So it was like, wait a minute. Some of these folks sound just as good live as they do in the rounds before. So that was, I was happily surprised that I had to be reminded that I was watching live performances.
Me too. We also know from talking to a lot of the contestants from this past season that fatigue is a real thing.
Come on.
They are being pulled in so many different directions that the importance of vocal rest during this time couldn't have taken more precedence. And
absolutely,
some of them said we suffered.
Yeah.
Especially, I think I remember some of them saying that a lot of the younger, less experienced singers really struggled because they had never been in this type of situation where they had to work on voice preservation, which you and I both know vocal fatigue is a real thing.
Absolutely.
And whether you're tired, if you ate the wrong thing, if you had too much alcohol, if you had too much milk or dairy or whatever.
Or if you have an occupation like I used to, where you talk all day like a teacher, talking wreaks havoc on your voice, especially when you have to project and just use your voice a lot. It wears your voice out.
Well, bunk that being a teacher, mommy of 2 little ones. Hello.
Absolutely. I talk way too much than
I voice more as the mommy of 2 little ones than you did as a teacher of kindergartners.
Absolutely. That is the truth. That is
all
the
right,
truth.
so let's go ahead and jump right in.
Okay.
I'm very excited to hear your list. Stephanie and I offline said, we probably have most, if not all, of the same performances, but It's the order.
It's the order.
It's the order.
It's the order.
Well, I guess I'm going to go ahead and start it off last time because, Stephanie, I believe I made you start the last time.
I think you did.
Again, just a reminder, no honorable mentions.
Right.
We had a small select group to choose from, but I'm going to start strong, okay? My number 5 is Sister Sorelle Fallin, Alicia Keys.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, wow, wowzers. And that should tell you right now how deep this list is.
Yes.
Because let me tell you, this was the one, to me, I feel like Sorelle had a stronghold from the jump. And I feel like they didn't, like a pit bull, they didn't let go.
That's right.
Entire song.
Mm-hmm.
It was a marvel of an arrangement to see what they did. And it was, to me, as powerful in the beginning as it was in the middle, as it was in the end. And that, to me, is an indication of just how brilliant of a performance this is. Because from start to finish, just like they did in previous rounds, you got to hear each one solo.
That's right.
You got to hear each singer's distinct style, each of the sisters' distinct styles.
Mm-hmm.
You got to hear the intricate harmonies. And the thing is Sorelle is always going to give you choreo, right? They're always going to give you choreography. Like the part where they like broke it down and it was a snap. I mean, it was everything.
It was everything.
Stephanie's going to attach the video. If you've not watched this, you've got to watch it because it's one of those performances that's so good that you got to go back and watch it multiple times to catch everything.
That's right.
Because there's so much happening
mm-hmm.
throughout the entire performance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be my common theme for tonight because all of my top 5s, there was so much happening from start to finish that they were pulling out every trick in the book. And that's, to me, what was so impressive about Sorelle. And what makes it even more impressive is that there was 3 of them.
Yes.
Sorelle, you're always going to get a fantastic vocal, number 1. Number 2, you're always going to get intricate harmonies. And number 3, you're always going to get a performance.
Absolutely.
Bar none. Sorelle always is prepared, and they always came to battle.
Absolutely.
Okay? These women warriors were not playing around.
They sure weren't.
That is my number 5 in my stacked semifinal top 5 list.
Well,
Stephanie, I'm going to turn it over to you. What you got?
That's strong. That's strong.
It's strong.
I think I'm coming in strong, too, with my number 5. My number 5 is Uriel. Can You Stand the Rain by New Edition.
Okay, I'm getting chills because I just knew Ray was going to be higher on your list.
Well, that tells you about my list.
I'm shocked.
I can't even tell you how I came up with my list because I changed it and flipped it so many times.
You had to walk away, right?
I had to walk away and come back and walk away and come back. So I'll explain Ray. I think that Ray did the work of about 2 or 3 soloists because he's singing a New Edition song. And that is not an easy feat because there are at least 2 different people singing solos, if not more than that, in this one song. And he's having to carry all of those different tones and qualities and all of that to keep true to the song, but also give it that Ray magic that he gives to his performances. Ray sang this thing down. Okay. Ray sang this song down. And when I talk about that, I have to remember that this was live. As I was watching it, it was reminding me of the kind of singing that he did in the previous performance. And then I had to jump back and think, wait a minute. He's sounding as good in this performance live as he did in the previous performance. He did not miss. I was stunned. His runs were flawless. His vocal was flawless. And I thought that this song choice was a great fit for his voice. And I think that for it, like you were saying about the length of time of this song and all the songs that everybody was singing, it was Ray and the band on the stage. And I could really see him working at his stage presence and his performance and being able to connect with the crowd and connect with the band and try to connect himself to the audience while singing the song. So I thought that Ray did an amazing job with this song that I love. So Ray is my number 5. Can You Stand the Rain by New Edition.
He really, really did. It was scary how perfect of a vocal it was.
It really was.
Because like I said, Stephanie's looking for the imperfections, and we don't mind them because we know that so much goes into singing. But I was like, yo, Ray, like that was crazy.
Yeah, like the vocal was ridiculous.
Like, yo, like you came to serve on the lots.
Yes.
That is one of the tallest orders.
Absolutely.
Because there's no do-over.
None. This is it.
So this awesome. Is it. Awesome wow, we both came out kind of swinging, Stephanie.
Yes,
very strong. All right, let's go to number 4. Number 4 is Gina Miles. For me, All I Want by Kodaline. And I chose Gina for number 4. I forgot about this performance. But then everything came rushing back in for this performance for me. And this is where I kind of solidified and started thinking in my head, okay, like previous rounds, it's like, okay, she's going to be the dark horse to win this. But this is where I started being like, okay, Gina, because I know this short shows format and I know what folks really love to vote for. And what I really mostly saw in Gina, I saw a complete artist in this performance. This was the performance where I was like, okay, Gina's is the visiting artist.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So Gina's the visiting artist who's already established. And I just was like, yo, because some of the things artistically that Gina did, I think she did a little bit different, a little bit more put together in this round. Like I didn't quite know where Gina was going as far as genres in previous rounds, which is a good or sometimes could be a bad thing.
Right.
But there were other previous singers like Rachel and things, other singers that had a very similar same styling as Gina. I felt like Gina, this is where she put her stamp on it and said, this is the artist I am. Whether you like it or not, take it or leave it. And I'm going to, the second I open my mouth, I'm going to be Gina.
Yeah.
Okay. The second I opened my mouth. And that's why I thought this performance was so strong. It was haunting. And, you know, I talked a lot about it on the previous podcast of this performance, but it was, I love the hauntingness, the haunting tone that she brought to this song. It made me really listen to how special of a voice that Gina really does have.
Yes.
And then it was another thing where I had to keep reminding myself she's still a teenager. Like
yes, she is.
Really, like seriously, the maturity of her performance. And you know, there was a section where she just didn't stand and sing, where she actually started to walk around and stuff and come out of her comfort zone a bit. And I just was like, Gina's doing what it takes. She's doing what it takes to really take this competition, as we know she did.
Come on.
So that is why Gina is my number 4. All I Want. I loved it.
And I love Gina. My number 4 is Ryley Tate Wilson, Vienna by Billy Joel.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
It is.
Talk to us about Ryley.
Again, I had to remind myself of 2 things. Number 1, one thing is that we're live. Number 2 is that the contestants don't always get choice over the song that they perform. So I honestly did not love the song choice for Ryley. But number 1, he came in playing the keys. And he was playing them keys. And I loved it. It was
key player.
Oh, so good.
People have
And
no idea, Stephanie, how difficult it is to play and sing at the same time. They have no idea.
no
And
idea.
he's a child doing it.
Yes, yes. So completely impressed. That first verse and that first chorus that he was sitting and playing, incredible.
It's incredible.
Then he got up and stood at the front of the piano and performed the rest of the song. When I went back and listened, I was like, wait a minute. He's really trying to do some things here. And what I thought was really brave of Ryley is that he played with his falsetto a lot in
Yes,
this
he
performance.
did.
And it was almost to the point where I was like, bro, you sure you want to do that? Knowing where you are in your voice and in your maturation process. I was like, are you sure you want to do this? And he didn't miss. Like, he sounded really, really good. And I really loved the different melodic choices he was making, especially at the end of the song where the chorus kind of kept repeating because it can get repetitive. And I really admired the differing melodic choices that he was making. Each time he sang the chorus, he sang it in a different way, trying new things, adding falsetto, adding different melodic choices to make it new and interesting. And I just really felt like I needed to reward his bravery. Like, he was pitch perfect. And given the song choice and given how it kind of just stays somewhere, he was really trying to do something with it. And I thought he executed it really, 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 really well. Especially on live TV. You jumping in and out of your falsetto on live TV.
And he's 15.
And he's 15. We've talked about what's going on in the male vocal around that age. And we even heard it some in previous performances by Ryley.
You make me ill, Ryley, because you made it work.
He made it work.
You're cracking your voice.
Yes.
Fit the song.
It did. So I was like, Ryley, I gotta give you your props, bro. I gotta give you your props. Number 4, Ryley Tate Wilson, Vienna.
That was one of the ones, Stephanie, that I debated to put on my list. The opening, especially to me, and this is just for me, the first half of that song, Ryley on the piano, to me, it was one of the strongest performances of the night. And to Stephanie's point, I think the reason why it did not make my list is because I was not a big fan of the song choice.
Right.
But it's not always their decision to make.
Right.
So that's unfortunate. But I just thought Ryley sitting there at the piano. In fact, I remember a note that you and I both gave back when we originally talked about this performance.
Yeah.
I don't know who gave it, if it was you or me, but one of us said, I wish Ryley would have stayed at the piano the entire time.
And who knows whether that was his choice or not either.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't. But
I'm sure he would have been happy to just sit there and play. And I think that it would have been just as excellent or would have taken it to the next level.
I would have said Ryley's going to win. If she stayed at that piano the entire time, to me, I was like, he's going to win this entire competition. Because there's no one left that can do what he does. And he's young enough to be maybe one or two of these contestants' kid.
That's right.
Of the season, not necessarily as to who was left, but
right.
But yeah, I just was like, this is a Wunderkind, as they say in German, like a wonder kid, right?
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
Like, yeah, it's crazy. Like a white Stevie Wonder, I'm telling you.
Come on.
Crazy.
Yes.
Okay, so because we already talked a lot about this next performance, is my number 3 is Ray Uriel. Can you say the name? New edition. I'm not going to belabor the point.
Wait. You had Ray higher than me. The tides have turned.
And you all know, for those of you that follow us, I was not convinced. Ray, young man, I was not convinced by you first. Stephanie made me a believer, y'all. Like,
I'm tickled pink.
Did.
I'm so happy.
Just like, yes, my work here is done.
Because I mean, it's not like you don't have an ear too, James. So that really makes me feel like I know a little bit of what I'm talking about, because you would not just change your mind.
No.
You
No.
wouldn't just change your mind. So
No.
that actually makes me feel like I know what I'm talking about.
Sis, you know more than what you you know more than a little bit. Okay,
Thank
you
you.
know
Thank
more
you.
than a little bit.
Thank you.
Especially, I'm the one, y'all, who went to school for this, right? I'm the one that is a professionally trained singer.
Yes. Yes.
Stephanie just loved to sing.
That's
But you know
right.
what? Stephanie is also a learner. So she's a sponge. When I first came back on the scene at our church, and Stephanie was tasked to, I'm going to call it a taskmaster. She was tasked to be the one to sit in the congregation while the small teams at our church sang. And Stephanie had to basically take notes on the worship set. That's when I first started to take notice of my sister, my friend right here, because I just was like, okay, all right, she's legit. It's passable.
Too legit to quit.
Passable. It's legit. Know what she's talking about.
Come on.
All right, so let me get back to Ray. So I am, instead of belaboring points, I'm going to hone in on a point that Stephanie made that I had planned on talking about. And I was like, nope, save it for when you announce where Ray was on your list. Stephanie made a fantastic point earlier where she said, this is a song that multiple singers in a group sing. Okay? Yeah. So those the two main singers I'm just going to take a minute to talk about are legends in their own right. Starting with the verses of Ralph Tresvant, who was the high tenor of New Edition. I'm giving y'all a little history lesson on New Edition, who was the high tenor. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about was not an original member of New Edition. Bobby Brown, Mr. Whitney Houston, left New Edition to become a solo artist. And a lot of them became solo artists in their own right. That's how talented New Edition was. But this young man from the DMV, from the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, a young man with an undeniable voice, auditioned for New Edition, and he undeniably got a spot in New Edition, and that was the Johnny Gill. So those of us, Stephanie's not from the DMV. She's a DMV transplant, but I was born, raised, left, came back to the DMV. I knew about this wunderkind of a singer, that's my word today, wunderkind of a singer named Johnny Gill, because he was a local act in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. If you've never heard Johnny Gill sing, you just got to hear the voice one time, and it's a voice you'll never forget.
Yeah.
So I'm saying all this to say, I'm giving you all this history, that Ray had some extremely tall shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And Ray blew it out of the water. And the reason why I put Ray at my number 3 is because he took this song, and it was Ray Uriel all the way through. It wasn't Ray singing Ralph Tresvant. It wasn't Ray singing Johnny Gill. Okay? It was Ray Uriel took his stylings, took his, as Stephanie would say, the smooth runningness of his voice, and applied it to the beginning, middle, and end of a song in the R. This song is like R&B.
Yeah, this is it.
Treasure, right?
It's a treasure, absolutely.
Like the epitome of late 80s, early 90s R&B.
That's right.
Song. This is like the song, you all.
Yeah.
For those of you who aren't familiar with the genre, okay, this is a beloved song. So you gotta sing this song right. And Ray has been one of the very few people, because we've heard many covers of this song.
Yeah.
Good covers of this song, too.
Yes.
Because I believe Drashika sang this song.
Yes, she did.
Oh,
yes, she did. Oh, she did.
Her woman sing the song, which was
right.
So I'm saying all this to say, I picked this because Ray stayed true to Ray.
Come on.
And gave it the Ray stylings, and it was not offensive.
Right.
It was a copycat.
Right.
It was 100% original, and Ray, to me, could re-release this song, and it would be just
Absolutely.
as popular as the original. I'm surprised.
Absolutely.
This song's like hallowed ground, you all. No one's redone this song in the 30 plus years that
No,
this song came out on
you're
because
right.
the original was so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry I'm getting on my soapbox, but Stephanie and I, one thing we know is we know R&B love songs. Okay,
Come on.
especially from like the late 80s, 90s, early 2000s.
That's right.
We just know them.
That's
And
right.
that's why Stephanie and I got happy when I remember with Stephanie, when she found out that Ray was singing this song. I think you screamed, Stephanie. Like, ah! I mean, y'all, I don't need to remind you, Carson Daly is one of his favorite songs. Like, and Carson is a hard rock guy, right? Like, that's his hard rock is Carson's like progressive rock, hard rock, like the grunge, like that's Carson's. But anytime Carson saw somebody was singing "Can't Stand the Rain," he got happy.
Listen,
and he looked at them. This is a new edition, y'all.
This is new. If I ever in my life get a chance to speak to Carson Daly, the second thing that I will say to him or ask him is, what is your relationship with "Can You Stand the Rain"? Because you love this song.
I can suspect maybe a first kiss. Maybe, nope. I'm gonna stop right there.
We'll stop there.
Show. But I think Carson has a pretty romantic affiliation with this song.
It's got a very special place in his heart, for sure. For sure.
But Uriel, it was by far your best performance. And I was very sad to see you go after this round because you went out on top, my brother. You
Come
really
on.
did. Awesome.
Come on.
All right, Stephanie. Number 3.
Number 3. My number 3 is Miss Holly Brand. Rumor Has It by Reba McEntire.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I'm excited.
Miss Holly Brand. Miss Holly Brand served it up as she always does with the attack, with the killer vocal, with all the tools. She pulled them all out, and she was one again who was just as flawless live as she was in the previous rounds. And it was scary. It was really scary. Miss Reba, she be singing some hard songs, y'all. Her catalog. Oh my gosh. Every song that I hear that one of these artists sing that is a Reba song, I'm like, this song is difficult, like level 12 difficulty.
Yeah.
And the way that she not only sang the song, but communicated it and performed it was outstanding. Come on full voice and come on falsetto. The way she was singing in her upper register at full voice was like, how do you do that? And then the way she would flip into her falsetto was crazy. Another come on yodel moment she had. She had growl. At the very end of the song, the line is "when it's true," and she went into this really high falsetto that just almost like was a dagger. Like, if y'all didn't think I was performing this song, I'ma stick you with this. And at that point, I think Kelly even had to stand up and be like, yo, you trying to win this thing. And it was such an incredible performance. The level of skill, and then we've talked about this with Holly the entire season, the mastery that she has of her own voice was so evident once again in this live performance. Because again, this is where we are seeing where the rubber meets the road with these artists, whether what we were seeing previously was true, or whether what we were seeing and hearing previously was a little cleanup, right. Through the editing process. Remember,
like in talking with some of the other contestants, they all said no one had a better mastery of their voice than Holly Brand.
And
like, these were the other contestants who were
monsters,
crazy singers.
Crazy singers. Yes.
So yes. Holly is a singer, y'all.
Absolutely.
Like, she's people's favorite singer.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Like, that's how nuts Holly is.
Yes.
When you got other singers that are just as talented saying, Holly Brand, nobody had a mastery of her voice like Holly did.
Right. Nope. And it really shined through in this performance. Yeah. It was incredible. It was incredible.
All right, so my number 2 is D Smooth. Thinking out loud. Ed Sheeran is my number 2, and I know
Come on, talk about it.
With that one.
Ooh.
Um,
yeah, I'm thinking about order now.
So, I mean, what do you say to this performance? I mean,
you say Ed Sheeran give up that song. That's what you say.
And I believe we both said that before. I like. There's no critique. There's no critique. There's no critique. Dude, again, it's like every vocal choice.
Every.
And the thing is your vocal choices come from a place of improvisation.
Come on.
I don't get it. Like, I don't like your brain is next level, D. Like, it really is.
No,
That's
it really
crazy.
is. It really is.
And I just was like, and then you had the nerve to like borderline start preaching the song. Like,
come on, second verse. Come on, second verse.
Stephanie, that's the point I want to make. The thing that made D Smooth not only just a formidable contestant to me and Stephanie, arguably was the one to beat throughout this competition. If you ask our personal opinion, because if you talk about week in and week out,
right?
Number 1, you remember this was the guy who skipped, who he and Allie did such a remarkable performance.
Yes.
That he skipped.
Yes.
And so we didn't see him for weeks. Then he came back with Location. And we just it was just crazy. And D Smooth is going to always be in my and Stephanie's top 5 list.
Yes.
That's how consistent he was.
Yes.
Okay. So we don't even need to talk about the production behind it versus D Live. I mean, you don't even need to talk about it because it was just, to me, I thought he was better live. I thought.
And how?
He was better live because of his improvisation skills, right?
Yes.
So anyone that can improv and literally make up a vocal line on the spot, because Kelly and everyone made it clear to say D never sang a song the same twice, right?
That's right.
So he probably, okay, well, let me make these choices, but these are like split-second decisions that you make.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to take the run down, I'm going to take it up, I'm going to do a half step, descending run, I'm going to do these crazy things, and he just makes it up on the spot, and it just comes out, and it's just like water, right?
Right.
Like, flowing brook.
Just fluid, yes. Yes.
So I digress for a second, but let me tell you all what made this so ridiculous is I am a firm believer on when you are going to, if you have the gift of improvisation, which a lot of singers who grow up in the African American or Black church have that gift.
Right.
A lot of people get caught in the weeds because they do too much.
Right. Right.
The thing that made this performance and the thing that made D so special is D Smooth was a master arranger.
Yes.
Give me the first verse of any song. I want to hear the especially with a melody that's so strong that Ed wrote.
Right.
I want to hear the melody of the song.
Yes.
Then, if you are talented in improvisation, when you get to verse 2, go for it. Okay?
You better talk about it.
Go for it. Especially if you're a master at it, as he is. He gave me straight melody.
Yes.
In verse 1.
Yes. Yes.
And then the thoroughbred of that man's voice let loose.
Yes.
He's like, I'm on a nice trot.
Yes.
And then the buzzer went off. Verse 2, it was over.
That's right.
TKO. KO. No, not TKO. KO. Knockout.
KO.
It was over. It was done.
Yep.
It was done because D got in his, what we like to say in the church, is his giftedness.
Yes.
And it was done, y'all. It was over, and it was so good. Like Stephanie and I was talking about choices.
Yes.
Every choice was
every choice. Every choice.
But he's not my number one.
I know.
Which is crazy.
I know.
So, I could go on, but I know D is either Stephanie's 2 or 1, so I'm going to let her talk a little bit more because I know she's got a lot to say about this performance. But I'm so interested to hear who your number 2 is because it's not clicking for me, Stephanie.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I think I know who your number 2 is. All right.
You might. Okay. My number 2 is Sorelle Fallin by Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
So again, guys, we're live, and Sorelle, I was so interested. I could not wait to see and hear them live because I was like, look, the things that and it's not even like it's just but the things that I want to see if what they do in the pre-recorded translates live. Mm-hmm. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. And not only did it translate, they did not listen. And they did not skimp on the arrangement or the difficulty of arrangement. If nothing else, they made it more difficult. Which was stunning.
That was scary.
It was scary.
It was like we always said about them in the past, the PhD level.
The PhD level of arrangement was incredible. The fact that they can remember what they are each individually supposed to do at any point in the song. At any point in the song, somebody's individually singing, or somebody's doing a harmony, or they're doing 3-part. The fact that they can remember where they are, where each of them individually needs to be at every space in the song, is commendable in and of itself, because it's remarkable, because there's so many moving parts. You want to talk about water? That is a flow. It reminds me of almost like a lava lamp. You just never know. We never know, but they do. There is never a point in time where they look confused or they look like they don't know what they're doing. They always know. What Bella do, James, in this song? What did Bella do at the top of the song? Do you remember what she did at the top of the song? She started this song a cappella.
15.
The 15-year-old sister began this song a cappella with not a chord, not a nothing, not a drone, not anything in the background that I could hear to tip her off on the note. Do y'all understand how difficult that is?
Do y'all understand how difficult with this particular song? Stephanie, how many versions have we heard of this song? And I'm not going to talk bad about anybody, multiple. But how many versions have we heard of this song where people start this song flat?
It's like, whoa. It's like, find it, because if you don't find it, it's over. You could have
written a more difficult line, right?
Come on, absolutely.
You come in full voice.
Come in full voice, and you swoop up.
And you come, and then you got to descend.
And then you got to descend down. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. I said, "Oh, this is how we're starting. This is how we're starting." And then, from like you said, James, it didn't quit. The difficulty of what they were doing from the top to the middle. By the end, I was like, "Y'all still doing these intricate things with?" Oh my gosh, it was incredible. Like you said, let's break it down, and you got the choreo going. I said, I know my girls is gonna break it down at this point, and they surely did. The staging and the staircases. These ladies,
that was awesome.
They had to walk down steps singing live with some heels on. Do that. Incredible. It was just stunning.
I'm gonna give Bella the Tamar Braxton Baby Sis Award. I'm gonna give her the Tamar Braxton Baby Sis Award.
And they were And they were all hollering. Like at any given point in that song, when they were doing their individual solos, every single last one of those ladies was hollering, hollering. And to be perfectly frank, and yes, this is only my number 2. You can probably guess what my number 1 is.
Oh, of course.
This song was life-changing for me. It literally changed it changed my view on music. When I first heard this song, I can remember being in I believe it was my freshman year of college.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard this song and I could not believe this was a new song because it had that old school sound to it. And I was just like, oh my God, who is this? This song is everything that I love currently and from the past about music coming together in this incredible way. So for all of those reasons and so many more, Sorelle, number 2, Fallin, incredible.
This song was like during the golden era of R&B.
Oh my
like it
gosh.
was early 2000s when R&B was just on the top of the world. At the top of the world.
Yes.
It was just, it's like the 90s was just R&B took over. It's like R&B and grunge, right? Took over in the 90s. And
yes.
The early 2000s with R&B, it was just like the height.
It really was.
Golden era of it.
Yes.
Yeah. So, which
absolutely.
I can't believe is 20. This song came out.
We don't need to talk about that because we just date ourselves.
Crazy.
But we look good, bro. We look good.
You know, light skin don't bend, y'all. Light skin don't bend.
Find out.
All right. So I want you to guess what my number 1 is.
Your number 1 is Holly?
Yes, absolutely.
Holly Brand.
Absolutely. I almost cussed. Absolutely Holly Brand. Rumor has it, Reba McEntire.
Ooh.
And this is why Holly Brand was my number 1. Because I am still in astonishment over the vocal things she was able to do. It can't be explained. I'm a vocal pedagogue. And do you know what that means? Like, I study the inner workings of the vocal cords.
Yes.
Right, from an anatomic place. So, again, I just wanted to, like, put a laryngoscope, which is that thing that can look at your vocal cords. It's very uncomfortable that they got to run up through. I'm not going to go. I can go into vocal pedagogy all day. But anyway, I wanted to put a camera in that woman's throat to see what was happening. Because I was just pure, I was dumbfounded. I was dumbfounded, and I forgot about this one, Stephanie. But to go back and listen to it again and be like, okay, was that a yodel? Was that a yodel in her head voice? Like, did she? Because most people will yodel from like chest or a mix to their head voice, but she yodeled in the top part of her register. She like, okay, was that what in the heck is going on?
Right.
It was otherworldly.
Yes.
Vocally, what Holly was doing. And again, because my theme for this episode, my top 5 had to do with complete performances. And that, to me, is why Holly Brand gave a more than, like, when something's more than complete, I don't even know what that is. Overly complete performance. In the best way. It was, again, and of course, as to what everything Stephanie said earlier was spot on. But I'm still sitting there and I'm like, she's a wonder. She's a wonder.
Come on.
Come on. I just was like, that's beyond mastery of your voice.
Yes.
That's like out of body experience with your voice.
No, you know what that is? That's that all.
That's that all.
That's that oil, because you know Miss Holly got that oil on her voice. She got that oil on her voice.
It's an anointing on her voice.
Yes,
she really
absolutely.
does. Like, and I feel like Holly's voice does heal. Like, I feel it it does break strongholds, and that's why Holly could never stop singing. I love the videos that she's been posting lately on her Insta. She's just so I'm just, Holly, I'm still in amazement of this performance because, to Stephanie's point, this is a very difficult song. And
Yes.
we all know one of the things that makes Reba Reba and makes Reba the superstar that she is she's one of the greatest storytellers. It doesn't matter what genre.
Yes.
That's another thing that I want to make a point. You told the story in this song.
Oh,
There
absolutely.
were other country performances in this round, but I felt like I was really right there with you as you were telling this story through your
Oh,
voice.
yeah.
And then for me to sit there and be like, how does she do that? How?
Right.
And
James,
I know voices.
when she did that last When It's True, I was like, yeah, what is that note? And how did she get there? And how is it that it's the precision of it all?
Yeah.
It's
It
the
sounded
precision.
fake, y'all. It
It did.
sounded produced.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me,
Mm-hmm.
makes it even more scary.
Yeah.
And that's why she had to be my number one. I mean, I was back and forth between D and Holly, but I know Stephanie knows that I put a lot of thought into this and
Absolutely.
that I wouldn't have Holly be my number one. And I wouldn't have made that choice lightly. That wouldn't have been
Absolutely.
a light decision for me
Yeah.
to make. And yeah, she had to be. That's what I was like. I remember having a conversation with you, Stephanie. I was like, nope, she won it. You got this.
I fully support
this
choice.
Especially the way that The Voice, loves their country singers.
Yes.
And one last thing, and I'm going to turn it back over to you for your number one. One last thing. Mm-hmm. Anybody that's got Kelly Clarkson on their feet when the song's not even near over, Kelly Clarkson's one of the hardest vocal judges in the book.
Yeah, she just don't stand.
She's one of the greatest vocalists in modern history in the past 20 years that has come out. So Kelly Clarkson has every right to be as tough as she is, but she was on her feet before the song was even close to being done.
That's right.
She was sitting there like Kelly's like, I can't do that. And Kelly can do everything.
Right.
Vocally.
Right.
All right, I'm done.
Okay,
Steph.
you are done.
All right, bring us home, Steph. Number one.
You can probably guess my number one. It is D Smooth. I lost it. D Smooth, Thinking Out Loud by the Ed Sheeran. So much of what you already said, I co-sign. And like I said at the beginning of when you were talking about this performance, this is one of Ed Sheeran's most popular songs.
Yes, it is.
We almost started a petition for him to give up this song to D Smooth. Like, that is absolutely insane. And one of the points that you made is one of the points that I was going to make, is that I loved the fact that in this song and in a lot of the songs that D Smooth did, especially individually, he would sing the first verse and the first chorus straight. He would give us melody. He would give us a bass line, give us just a...
It speaks to the awesomeness of his voice, because any singer that can sound as good as he does and sing straight, and then he did. And I wanted you to talk to that, but
it was absolutely incredible. The really, again, wise thing that I thought that he did with this song was turn it from its original form musically to this acoustic, earthy, kind of gospel-y version of this song to really make it his own. And that styling lent really well to his voice. That is just so smooth. So smooth. It's so smooth. It's so smooth. There's no other way to say it. I felt like this... most of the song was in his upper range. I don't know if I'm sure you caught that, James.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of this song was in the felt like the upper range, but there did not seem like there was a strain, which just shows me his breath support and his knowledge of his voice, that like nothing felt pressed. It felt really comfortable in his upper range, which was incredible. And speaking of comfortable, he's just comfortable on stage. I just love it. The way that he holds his mic, like when he would get done singing a line, he would hold his mic kind of in his arm. I just love stuff like he opened his jacket. And I know I made a comment about this in the original episode. At one point, it was like, brother, I know you want to loosen that jacket, unbutton that thing. And he did. It was just like, yes, singing to the crowd. Like, just, it was incredible. The way he was playing off of the saxophone was doing one line, he's doing another melodic line, and they just went like this. And kudos to the band for their musicianship to be able to follow somebody like D Smooth, who is so impromptu, who will just ad lib and do whatever in the moment, and the band can still keep up and sound really, really good. So I love that. I think the thing that I love most about D is that he just sings from such an authentic place.
Yeah.
And you feel it. No matter what he's singing, it is coming from an authentic place. So that is why D Smooth is my number one.
Wow. Wow. Some surprises today, Steph.
Some surprises.
On our list. We thought we were going to match up, but be in different orders, but we did not. And I'm glad we did not.
Same.
So I love this round because to me, it was like next level with the expertise like that the singers brought.
Absolutely.
I was like, okay, we got us a show. Like we really do.
Absolutely.
Back to the point we were making earlier about it being live, and I love the imperfection of it all. Because all these performances weren't perfect that we chose. But were because they were imperfect.
That's right.
So we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about one more performance that, to me, if this performance was a part, well, I think Stephanie too. If this performance was a part of the actual competition, it would have been both of our number ones.
Absolutely.
And this was the special performance of who, Steph?
Chance the Rapper, featuring three of the departed artists from the previous round. Manessa Simone, Jamar Langley, and Calibanum. They did the backgrounds to Chance's Same Drugs. And excuse me, all three were hollering to the heavens. All three were working in their giftedness. All three had an opportunity to shine. And I was so thrilled for them because all three
had to follow one of the most gifted singers in modern history.
Come on.
And that singer that we are referring to is the Yebba.
Yebba.
This song, to give y'all a little context, was Yebba's coming out.
Yeah.
This was done years ago on an SNL episode where Chance, I think, was doing double duty, right? He was
I think so.
He was the musical desk, which to me in itself is just nuts to think about that. Those of you that perform, that sing and act, it's just crazy.
Right.
Very few. That's hollow ground. Very few people have done that in SNL. But no one was ready when this girl from Tennessee started hollering from the back. Hollering. And then she just went off. So to follow that, Stephanie and I Stephanie and I, we know this song, right? And we know, especially towards the second or the back half of the song, the B section of the song, when Chance just goes in and the band just starts going in, we were like, okay, what are you going to do?
Right.
To follow someone who can't be followed.
Right. Well,
Stephanie made the point. Colin. Girl, we already thought one of your performances in My Funny Valentine was like one of the greatest performances that have ever been on this show, period, any season, right?
Right.
But then you came and you were not in the front, right? You were not in the limelight.
Right.
But
Right.
Carla, you made your stamp to remind everybody it was a mistake.
That's right. That's right.
You were off of this show.
That's right. She did the most ethereal hollering I have ever heard in my life. Like ethereal hollering. Like it was incredible. The runs and the ad libs and the things that she was doing. That was just so perfect for the moment. It was just so perfect.
Manessa.
Ciao.
Our opera diva.
Ciao.
I think anyone could do the highs that Yeva did in that song.
Yeah.
And I'm not even trying to emulate it because
I was thinking about it for a half second. I was like, no,
can't do it.
No,
because it's just so.
We'll link it. We'll link it in the show notes. Oh, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
Because not only was it like up in the stratosphere of someone's range, it was runs.
No, it was. Yes.
Da 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 da. I'm doing it like 2 octaves or 3 octaves down. It's right. But think of that, y'all, like 2 octaves up.
Yes. Right.
It was just great.
It was great. It was so great. It was so great. Listen. The way the tone of his voice matched Chance's was really, really cool. Because there were times where Chance would say a line and Jamar would like grab the end of that line and he would do his thing and continue it and do these runs that was like, I hear you. Don't think that nobody can. I can hear you, bro. And he was hollering as well.
You're like, Jamar, they're already walking away with a limp. Why are you trying to end someone's life with that run?
No, you know what ended people's lives was their 3-part harmony. Their 3-part harmony was so ridiculously tight, and they have 3 really, really different voices. So let that be a lesson to us all of us singers. If you really want to blend, particularly with people that have very interesting voices, you can. You just have to listen to each other and adjust. It's possible because they sounded like one voice, and it was really, really spectacular. It was really spectacular. I'm going to also link in the show notes because Kala did a vlog about this whole experience, the whole experience of them practicing and performing this song, and it's on her YouTube channel. So it was really, really kind of cool to see the behind the scenes of them practicing and just going forth with this performance. So I'm going to link that in the show notes as well.
It was an experience, you all. It was awesome.
It was.
And again, we got to give props to Chance because Chance is so giving. Like he's so, and I'm not talking about the slang when people say, "Oh, you're giving." No, he is so gracious and generous, so giving, so generous with his talent. With his just whole. You can see that Chance is really about giving new and emerging artists a chance to be in their outlet and to flourish in their outlet. So the fact that Chance gave the 3 of them and picked the 3 of them, I'm going to assume he picked the 3 of them and kept them there the extra week to do that special was just, it was exemplary.
Yes, it was.
It really was. And other artists, take note to how giving and how generous Chance is. So
absolutely.
So we had to talk about that, you all. It was the one that Stephanie and I really came back to over and over and over. Like, did you hear this? Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Did you hear Jamar? Did you hear Colin? Did you hear Vanessa?
Yes.
It's just crazy. And oh my gosh, we didn't think anyone could do this better than Yeva.
I know.
We're just blown away.
Yeah, it was really spectacular.
Yeah. So that's it for the semifinals. And what a semifinals it was with the live show, the first live show. And we thank you all so much for tuning in, for joining us this summer as we take a walk down memory lane when it comes to our best of each round. So, Stephanie, tell the Pitchies what they need to hear.
So don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Pitchy Podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you can be the first to know when we drop a new episode. And also check us out on YouTube. Search for The Pitchy Podcast and hit that subscribe button so you know when we drop a new video. And also don't forget to follow us on Instagram at The Pitchy Podcast for new episode alerts, episode clips, and so much more.
Well, everyone, until we meet again, have a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week. Bye.
Bye-bye.